Hello everyone, I'm Diego and I'm one out of 3 triplet flames who are rainbow star people, and welcome to this YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content like this. Now on to today's video, which is about limiting beliefs and shadow work and how to overcome these limiting beliefs. And I'm also going to be connecting shadow work with the 7 deadly sins and the 7 heavenly virtues. So shadow work is essentially looking at your own insecurities and limiting beliefs and your own negative feelings and transforming these feelings, limiting beliefs and negative emotions and insecurities in order to get closer to your higher self and the best version of yourself. So I'm going to be breaking things down step by step for you so you know exactly how to practice shadow work. And take what resonates with you, and what doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. You don't need to do what doesn't resonate. So the first thing you do is think about what is a thing that you feel insecure about or have a negative emotion about. So think about something that causes you to feel a negative feeling. Now think about the first time this negative feeling arose about this thing. So it could have first originated when you were a baby, or maybe a toddler, or a child, or maybe a teenager or an adult. It really just depends. So think about when this thing first started to really bug you. And now think about the root cause of what is causing you to feel this way. It could be an unmet need, or it could be something else entirely. Next, I would like for you to think about what limiting belief is being created from this negative emotion or insecurity. Let me give you an example. In the movie Inside Out 2, Riley really wanted to fit in with her peers, and that was causing her to feel anxious. And this anxiety caused her to believe that she was not good enough. So that's the limiting belief. I'm not good enough is a limiting belief. So you can think of your own limiting belief that may arise from this insecurity or negative emotion. And the last step to all of this shadow work is to think about a way you can overcome this negative feeling or insecurity or limiting belief. So, for instance, if you want to replace a limiting belief with an affirmation, you can say something like, instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you can say, I am good enough, or I'm doing a good enough job. If you want to find a way to overcome this negative emotion, you can find a way to meet your own needs and practice self-care. If you want to target an insecurity that you have, you can begin by complimenting yourself in the mirror and building your own confidence. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the way shadow work connects with the 7 deadly sins and the 7 heavenly virtues. I like to think of the 7 deadly sins as different shadow aspects of humanity, and the way shadows can become out of balance and excessive. So, and these sins actually are the result of having limiting beliefs that are preventing you from connecting with your higher self or becoming the best version of yourself. So I'm going to be defining each of the 7 deadly sins and the 7 heavenly virtues, and then talking about them. The 7 heavenly virtues are the way that you overcome each of the 7 deadly sins. That's why they're equally as important to talk about. All right, so let's talk about the most important of all the 7 deadly sins, and it's pride. Pride is essentially excessive love of one's own excellence. Pride also causes you to believe that you're better than other people. It causes you to have a superiority complex, and it causes you to think that you're superior to other people. The way you counteract pride is with humility. Humility is the quality or state of not thinking you are better than other people. Humility is an attitude of spiritual modesty that comes from understanding our place in the larger order of things. It entails not taking our desires, successes, or failings too seriously, and it involves recognizing that we are imperfect human beings. While those with humility should not allow themselves to over-inflate anyone's ego, we should recognize their positive attributes when they are apparent. Those with humility should also recognize their own limits. All right, now let's look at the next deadly sin and heavenly virtue. Gluttony. Gluttony is essentially excess in eating and drinking. So basically eating and drinking too much. It also can manifest as consuming far too much. Like, for example, shopping or buying things excessively. So the way you counteract gluttony is with temperance. Temperance is moderation and self-restraint, as in behavior or expression. So basically, the idea with temperance is everything in moderation. You can eat and drink, but you don't want to do it too much. You can shop for yourself, but only get the things that you really need. All right, let's look at the next deadly sin and heavenly virtue. So this is really interesting to me because Inside Out 2 took a different twist to envy and saw it as a normal human emotion. But it's interesting because the heavenly virtue that counteracts envy is gratitude, which is another type of feeling and emotion. So when you look at envy, you're looking at things from a place of lack, whereas when you think of gratitude, you're looking at a thing from a place of abundance. Envy is essentially resentment or sadness at another's good fortune or excellence, with an often insatiable desire to have it for oneself. Envy is a little bit different from pride because it is this belief that you don't have enough or that you're not as good as someone else. It's almost like looking at yourself as inferior to another person because they have more things that you do. Envy can also manifest as comparison in social media, where people compare each other's appearances to each other in a toxic way. Now when we look at gratitude, gratitude is a warm and friendly feeling towards a benefactor, thankfulness. So basically, something that you can do to counteract envy is by gratitude journaling and writing 3 things that you are grateful for every single day. Alright, let's look at the next deadly sin and heavenly virtue. Lust is essentially the disordered desire for or inordinate enjoyment of sexual pleasure. Sexual pleasure is morally disordered when sought for self, isolated from procreative and unitive purposes. So when you're excessively lustful, you're essentially over-sexualizing someone or being overly sexual to the point that is actually harmful and bad for your own well-being and for other people. The thing that counteracts lust is chastity. Chastity is purity of body, freedom from unlawful sexual intercourse, and essentially just practicing self-restraint and not over-sexualizing people and seeing people as human beings rather than sexual objects, or seeing people as human beings rather than objectifying them. Now let's look at the next sin and virtue. Sloth is the culpable lack of physical or spiritual effort. So it's essentially being excessively lazy, where you're just sleeping the whole day and you're not doing anything productive. Or it could be even being so busy that you actually are less productive because you're actually distracting yourself from doing what's important. So sloth can actually manifest in different ways, as I just said. What counteracts sloth is diligence, which is interested and persevering application, carefulness and careful attention, devoted and painstaking effort to accomplish what is undertaken, and assiduity in service. Essentially what that means is doing what is necessary in order to achieve what's important. Alright, now let's look at wrath and patience, the next sin and virtue. So wrath is a strong feeling or hatred or resentment with a desire for vengeance. So it's essentially wanting to hurt someone else because you want to seek revenge. How you counteract wrath is with patience, which is the ability to wait for something without frustration. Patience is even important with relationships. If you want a certain type of relationship to manifest in your life, it's important that you trust the universe to manifest things for you and be patient so that the right person really does arrive in your life, or the right people arrive in your life. Alright, now let's look at greed and charity, the last deadly sin and heavenly virtue. So greed is an immoderate love or desire for riches and earthly possessions. It's essentially wanting way too much, wanting things in excess and wanting it excessively to the point that it's causing you to feel unhappy. Believing that buying more and more things is going to make you happy is a false illusion. Getting more and more and more things does not make people more happy. Happiness is created from within. Now, what counteracts greed is charity. Charity is provision of help or relief to the poor, aims giving to help the needy. So next time you see someone on the street who is homeless, practicing charity would mean either helping them find a job or giving them something so that they can get themselves some food. Or even giving them food. That counts as charity. I even think of charity as giving back to the world in different ways. You can give back to the world by being productive. You can give back to the world in your job. You can give back to the world by being kind to others. So essentially, as I said before, these sins and virtues connect with shadow work because they have to do with insecurities resulting in limiting beliefs, and then finding ways to overcome these insecurities and limiting beliefs. For instance, if you're very greedy, it's because you're insecure about not having enough. And in order to counteract that, you give back to the world. So that's just one example out of many about how you can connect the 7 deadly sins and 7 heavenly virtues to shadow work and finding ways to overcome and transform your shadows. I hope that all of you enjoyed listening to this video. I know it was a bit of a longer video, but I had a lot of content to cover, and I hope that all of you are enjoying your summer or are enjoying things at the time of year that you are listening to this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day or evening. And thanks for listening through this entire video and being here for me as I am here for you. Alright everyone, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out, much love, and may you all be free. Mwah.